tutorial channel. I'm Maddie, and I've started this series as a way to help you become more resourceful and creative and curate your own handmade minimal essentials. Today I'm going to be taking you through the steps of how to transform a top like this into a skirt with a shirred feature that will end up looking something like this. And I understand that not everyone has access to shirts like this, so to get started and get something towards that, you could always just cut out a rectangular piece for this top strap that's the size of your hips or your widest point, and then add some gathered fabric to the bottom. And that's how you would get to the same starting point to create a skirt like this. So what we need today for this, it's quite simple and straightforward as it's already an existing garment and we just need to change a few things. So I've got scissors to chop off the top half, some matching black thread, and also some shirring thread which is black. And I'll show you, if you haven't shirred before, I'll talk you through the process of how to add this onto your bobbin and do the right technique to get it all gathered. And if you need, obviously some pins and a sewing machine, and that's all we'll need to get started. I found this shirt in an op shop and I've worn it a few times, but I'm just not in love with it. And I know by transforming it into a skirt, I'm going to wear it so much more. So the first step of what we'll do is we're going to cut the top half. So if you have fabric chalk, this is where you could use this and you could draw a line, but I'm just going to guide myself from the bottom of this sleeve to the bottom of that sleeve, so pretty much from armpit to armpit. Cut along there, and then I'll get to the sewing part. Perfect, so that bit is now resembling more of a skirt. And I'll keep that because who knows, I might turn that into another DIY, but that's just a little top bit. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll grab the shirring thread and thread it onto the bobbin. So there's a lot of different techniques that you can follow to thread this on, but this is just my preferred way. So what I do is grab the bobbin, unthread the shirred. So there's the shirred thread, so there's a good amount. Attach it, make sure there's a clean end, and then what I do is I pop it, so there's normally like a little hole to start the attachment to the bobbin, pop it through there, hold that piece that I just pulled out with my other hand, and then start to hand thread it onto the bobbin. And the secret to this bit is don't pull it, because it is an elastic thread, that's what a shirring thread is. Don't pull it so it's tight on there. The aim is to have it nice and loose and just with no stretch. So you'll probably need to keep unrolling this to create more thread available. And then just keep adding on here until it's filled up. Perfect, so now that I've threaded that on, I'm just going to pull it out and leave at least like 20 centimeters of thread hanging off the end, and thread that onto my machine with the matching black thread, and I'm ready to start sewing. So I've threaded the machine with the bobbin shirred thread. You just do that as normal as you would, and it comes out the bottom as the shirred. So obviously because it is the bobbin, it's going to always be on the underside as you sew. So it's good to sew with the good side facing up, so all the gathered shirred messiness is hidden underneath. So to begin, I'm just going to do a double roll, just so it's a nice clean hemline at the top and doesn't have any frayed bits, and then you just sew like normal. And the first few rows, you probably won't see much of a gather or a difference, but as you get further along, that's when you will start to see that gathered effect. Perfect, so now that that's all pinned, I can begin sewing. So that's the top hemline all done, and as you can see, no real difference, still quite the same. It is bunching a little bit, but we'll start to see it more as we go along. So the effect that you want with shirring is up to you with how drastic you want the gathering and the lines apart. I want this to be quite gathered because I want it to fit around my hips and hug it a bit, and so I'm going to sew every 1.5 centimeters down, and I just use the lines on my machine to help guide me with keeping that consistent for each line. Otherwise, if you have a fabric that you can use fabric chalk on, you can measure it out before, which helps you stay on line when you start sewing. So I'm just going to keep doing that, and I'll show you each time as it gathers a bit more. And as it does, so it is starting to gather quite a bit, so as it does that, just make sure that you've got the fabric nice and flat, so as it goes through there's no bunching or throwing you off your line. Second row, and you can already see it starting to gather just a little bit more. It is such a simple process in the fact that you are just sewing straight lines, but it is tedious because you have to do so many lines and it adds up to be quite a bit of time. But this is how it turned out. So cute. And while I was sewing, I just thought the fact that it is quite versatile, where I can still wear it as a top, so bandeau vibes, or a skirt. Super resourceful. So let me know if you have a go at this tutorial and how yours turns out. Tag me at the Essentials Club on Instagram or message me below. And if you want to subscribe to my channel as well, if you want to stay up to date with other tutorials as they come about. But I'll show you how it looks in action, take a few snaps, and so excited to add it to my wardrobe.